D.L. Moody said, God never made a promise that was too good to be true. Tony Evans said this. He says, God will meet you where you are in order to take you where he wants you to go. God accepts you where you are, but doesn't want to leave you there. He wants this sanctification. He wants this growth to change you. And that's the purpose that we see. We see the purpose of life isn't just staying where we are, isn't just making an excuse for where we are. It's growing. And so don't make an excuse to remain in your sin. Don't just say, well, I've always been a sinner and I'm always going to be imperfect. So this is my sin and it's just always going to be this way. Listen, that ought not to be. There ought to be sins that God is setting you free from through his grace. God didn't save you so that you could sin. He saved you from your sin. He freed you from your sin. And so God is the change agent, and he will perform the good work in you if you will allow him to. We must surrender to him. We must lay aside those weights that so easily beset us. But oftentimes, it's through our legalism that we try to work our way out of our sin. We try to work our way. We try to perform our way out of it. That's not the way at all. In fact, let me give you an illustration. When I was in my senior year of high school, I went to this school, and there was an English grammar teacher. Her name was Mrs. Hanson. In the first couple months, I'm not proud of this, but the first couple months of that class, I did not understand the subject matter, and I did not care about it at all. And so instead of in humility going to her and saying, Mrs. Hanson, I don't understand anything you're saying, and you're drawing lines that are supposed to be diagrams, but I have no idea what they mean, and I just don't get it. Instead of doing that, I goofed around the entire time, to the point where she lost she lost control of her class, and she asked me to step outside in the hallway. This is after a couple months of just back and forth, back and forth. When we got out of the hallway, I wasn't prepared for what she was going to say. She started crying. First of all, I thought she was going to yell at me, and I would have preferred her to yell at me than sit there and cry. And she wiped her tears away, and she looked at me, and she said, I am not bothered or burdened by you. She said, I'm burdened for you. She said, it's not about the class. I know you need this class. I know somehow you're going to use this class. And boy, was she right. Almost every single day, I'm like, should have paid more attention in Miss Hanson's class. What is this? But she said, I'm burdened because I care for you. I have a heart for you. Man, when I went back in that class, I wasn't perfect, but man, my behavior changed. My behavior didn't change because I had a greater understanding of the rules. My behavior changed because I had a greater understanding of her heart. I want you to know that when you have a greater understanding of the rules, it just changes your behavior for a short time. But when you have a greater understanding of your Father's heart, when you are living your life not afraid of breaking the rules and someone might find out, but afraid of breaking his heart, friend, everything changes. You see, Timothy Keller said, legalistic remorse, it says that I have broken God's rules, but real repentance says I have broken God's heart. See, it's God that works in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. It has to be God that is working. It has to be God that is moving. It has to be God that is performing. He says that the work that has begun, I will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ.